Haig Berberian, also referred to as the Sausage King of the Carolinas.
I was with a company prior to that in Boston, worked for them. I was a sales guy. I started my meat industry career when I was 19 years old. I went to Florida, started a food brokerage company. Company wanted me back. I merged my company with them. I became president of that. Unfortunately, it didn't work out real well. That's why I started Specialty Food Solutions. While that was going on, I started working on developing Cooper River Farm, Seven Springs Pastures, and Epico Foods, and we were trading other products. And we went from being a broker previously in the 90s to taking possession of product. And in 2021, we decided to make our own product in our own plant. It's 100% tantamount that our people are safe and then that what we're putting out is safe.
This is the unfiltered truth about entrepreneurship. Raw, no BS, no sugarcoating. Welcome to Entrepreneur Intel. I'm your host, Wes Matthews. Each episode, we'll learn from experienced founders and uncover the top 5% learnings that led to their success in all things personal, family, and business. This show is sponsored by Stealth Consulting, delivering clear marketing strategies, ROI, and no surprises. So I'm super excited for our guest today. So a couple cool things. I want to introduce you first. Haig Berberian. I love your name. It's probably the best name I've had on the podcast, but that's not even what excites me. You are also referred to as the Sausage King of the Carolinas. And I think something interesting, everybody on the podcast knows, like, I'm a big fan. I've been part of EO for many, many years, over a decade. But you were the original founding president of the Charleston, South Carolina chapter in 2018. So that's super cool. I want to touch on that. But I want to get started. So as an entrepreneur, the first company I want to talk about, you started in 2008, which is Specialty Food Solutions. And one thing on that before we kind of get going, like, you gave me some interesting years. One is 2008, you started a company in 21. The first thing that comes to mind in 2008, it's there was a big crash in 2008 and 21. Obviously, we have COVID. So Take me back to 2008 and what drove you to create a specialty food solution company.
So I started my entrepreneurial journey. Before that, I was with a company going back to 2008. Prior to that, I was in my own food brokerage business in Florida. I was with a company prior to that in Boston, worked for them. I was a sales guy. I started my meat industry career when I was 19 years old, working in New England and New York and New Jersey and all of that. And I was there for about 9 years. I left. I went to Florida, started a food brokerage company. Company wanted me back. I merged my company with them. I became president of that. Unfortunately, it didn't work out real well. I was there through the summer of 2008, and we just had a not great parting of the ways. And that's why I started Specialty Food Solutions. So I kind of knew I needed to get back into doing my own thing. So I launched the company. Originally, I knew that we were going to develop our own brands of products, meat products. But quite frankly, I had a kid about ready to go to college, and I started just trading, as we call it, closeout, short-coated, good quality, healthy, edible, safe product, but still things that were excess inventory from major suppliers in the industry, everything from desserts to meat. And then that's how I started Specialty Food Solutions. And while that was going on and I was, creating some income and being able to survive, that's when I started working on developing Cooper River Farm and Seven Springs Pastures and Epico Foods. And we were trading other products. And we went from being a broker previously in the 90s to taking possession of product. And then in 2012, I got involved in a company that was needed to be taken over. Myself and another gentleman took over. We were harvesting, roasting pigs. So in 2012, we did that. All the while, Specialty Food Solutions has been in business, since 2008. That didn't change.
So when you first started, right, you mentioned like you worked for a company. Like, did you know you were an entrepreneur, and like, was that falling out that you wanted to do things your own way and you saw the world differently, or did you like, was it a forcing mechanism for you to become an entrepreneur?
A little of both. It was a decisions that I knew were wrong, that would not launch us to a better place. And it was just one of those things that it was really a mutual parting of the ways. It was just unfortunate the way it went. So
do you feel like, I feel like a lot of people are maybe sometimes in that position, like they have a job and some of them might just put their head down and be like, it is what it is. Like, why do I get involved? But you kind of had a different vision. So leaving that company and starting Specialty Foods in 2008, like I started my company in 2009 and a lot of people told me, they're like, you're crazy. The market's this and that. I'm like, nobody knew I didn't have anything to lose.
Well, yeah, I mean, look, I can tell you this. My daughter started University of South Carolina, I think in 2009, and she got a Pell Grant her first year because I was broke. That's kind of how it started. I mean, 2008. Think about it, right? We had the housing crisis.
Yeah.
It was a rough time to be out of work, and I didn't really waste any time. And it's not like I hadn't already been in my own business before, and I had already been in the industry for, well, at that point, 16, 18 years, whatever it was. So I had a lot of contacts and connections, and most importantly, I had a really good reputation. And quite frankly, when I got this going and I had a call on a lot of people to say, hey, I'm going out on my own, it was amazing to me, Wes, and maybe brought tears to my eyes, right, in a good way. So many people said, hey, whatever you need, man. Just like people, I was broke. I had no credit. People gave me credit that knew me. So it was a blessing.
So like, what gave you that drive? I mean, so couple questions on that. One, like, why food? Like, why to me as a general, like, very complicated. There's a shelf life. This stuff can rot really quick. Pricing, I can't even explain that. Like, my first job, I was a dishwasher. I was a line cook. I was a prep cook. I mean, I messed up a lot of steaks. Like, I've been in that world, but man, it seems like there's a lot of moving parts in that business. Why'd you choose that?
I think it chose me because I started that. My family was, my father was in the meat industry. He was a wholesaler. He was a processor at one point in the New York, New Jersey, Connecticut tri-state area before the advent of McDonald's and Burger King. This is when I was, I was born in 1963. So when I was very young or an infant, he had an automated, beef patty line. He was selling to, burger places all over the place, and so being from the family I was from, he also had some stores. And when I was 9 years old, it's like, all right, you work a half a day on every Saturday. You come in, and I, go in, and my first job was to make boxes because he also had a wholesale side. And that's what I did. I made boxes, and he'd give me $5, and then I go meet my friends at the bowling alley, and and then my mother would take me, and somebody's mother would bring me home, and that was every Saturday from the time I was 9. And then when I was 12, it's like, all right, you're working every Saturday and Sunday. So it's just been in my it's been in my blood. It's been in my family. So it's
so in 2008, when you spin up Specialty Foods, like, were you you talked about a couple different things. I just want to make sure I have it clear. Were you a broker, or you had started like actually processing your own meat at that time?
So in 2008, no, I stopped being a broker, which, for purposes of, explaining, a broker's working on commission, right? So you're not taking possession of anything. You're representing someone. You're representing a brand. You might be representing multiple brands, and you're putting deals together, and you're getting a commission usually based on the volume, the tonnage, the poundage, whatever you want to call it. When I started Specialty Food Solutions, I decided that I did not want to be a broker. I wanted to take possession of product, which was why I needed to call all these people and ask for credit terms, which they gave me. And I started buying product. I contracted out carriers. And in the beginning, I sold whatever their brands of products were, whether it was closeout, short coated, premium, primary product, first run product, whatever it was. I just started making deals. It was all on the phone, right? You can't be afraid to pick up the phone, which I think a lot of the younger generation doesn't get. And I don't mean to sound like an old geezer, like, most kids, but I do think that there's a lot to be said about picking up the phone. And so that's what I did. And I just started moving product and, bought it, sold it, made a profit. Little by little, I, just kept working towards with the knowledge in the back of my mind that we need to align at that time with suppliers that could make product for us. So initially, to answer your question, we had product made for us. That was what we did. Once we got some traction, maybe around 2010, we were having product co-packed for us. We had our own brands, and we had product made, whether it could be anything, any kind of meat product, processed product. And then again, I in 2012, I got into that other plant. And then in 2014, myself and those two partners, we did open up a small meat processing plant. We just had different visions. In fact, unfortunately, one of my partners passed. What a fantastic guy. And the other guy, he still owns that slaughterhouse where we harvested pigs, and I still do business with him. It was time for me to exit. That's all, because I really needed to focus on Specialty Food Solutions. And then in 2021, we decided to make our own product in our own plant.
That's quite the trajectory, because at that pivotal time, right? I mean, I look at that as two really big different options, right? You could just continue to be a broker, not hold inventory, sell other people's stuff, and make a commission, right, which sounds kind of attractive. Right. But you made a different decision to say, well, I want to do it differently. Did you know at the time what you were doing, or was it just you came from that world and saw that world, or like what led you to decide on that?
Well, again, so first of all, I will tell you, when I was a broker in the 90s, principals or people that we represent don't really understand what goes into being a broker. So because I was a broker in a former life, I have the utmost respect for brokers and their relationships, because that's what they bring to us, because we now have brokers that work for us. And they're the ones that have the relationships. They're the ones that when you have a problem can help you solve it. In some cases, they quote unquote know where the bodies are buried to help you solve a problem, or help you get a product placement, or work a food show that you may not have the manpower to do. So we hire brokers now but the reason that I didn't want to do it was more probably because of being the entrepreneurial brain that I have. One thing you don't have as a broker is you don't have a lot of control. You have no control over production, quality, consistency, pricing. You are at the mercy of the supplier, which is why brokers that work for us really, they get a lot of support from us, because we really do understand how important it is that those things don't spill over in a negative way to their customer base, which is eventually our customer base.
No, it's great insight, and the control, right? Being at the mercy of somebody else and quickly having to shuffle. So throughout that in 2021, then you took it a step further, and then you started. So did you guys brand under because before you were co-packing, but now you actually have your own product. So in 2021, why did you create a separate entity versus the specialty food solutions? Was that so you could do your own brand of meats?
It was so we could control the production. It just made sense financially to keep the businesses separate. First of all, Specialty Food Solutions is here in Charleston, South Carolina. The USDA plant is United Custom Foods, which is in Lucama, North Carolina, and it is a USDA plant. And I set that plant up as a co-packer. It is a separate entity altogether. And in fact, I rented that building, and 2 weeks ago, we just closed on it. We bought the building. To me, to be able to control the inflow of raw material, what raw material you're using to make what products, and then how you're making them, what the process is, the ingredients, the packaging, to be able to control all of that. Now, granted, we don't have 100% control. We don't control our costs on boxes or bags or ingredients. Everybody has to answer to somebody on something, but certainly being able to do our own further processing with our own staff and our own equipment and our own building, it's a big deal.
So are you guys farming then all of the livestock, or is that all partnerships through farmers?
No, and utmost respect for farmers. We need them. No, I am not a farmer.
Now, okay, so you've been in this world for, okay, you said you're 60, so like 1971, you got a taste of this, right? You said you were 9 years old.
Yes, yeah.
You got 1971 to 2025. I'd imagine like there's been huge shifts in the industry. You've got this big organic push. I mean, is there anything that stands out, like where the future's going, or like, there's AI, there's all these different things. There's so many like specialty foods like taco chips now to all kinds of stuff. Like I'm super confused when I go to the grocery store.
Yeah.
Like where's this all headed? I mean, do you embrace and love what's going on, or is it more like, be better if things were just more traditional, or?
Well, I mean, as far as technology, I think it's amazing, and we're embracing AI as far as our marketing and our operations. As far as where the meat industry is going, that's a whole other story, because you have the beef industry, the pork industry, the chicken industry, the lamb, goat, sheep. Then you have there's a lot of imported product coming from New Zealand and Australia and Mexico. And now of course you have the tariff situation. So I don't know where it's going. And anybody that tells you they know where it's going is lying. So, I can speculate. I don't think beef is coming down. I think I'm seeing typical influxes in pork and certain cuts of pork. Like we make a premium sausage product, and it's mostly all boneless butts, and we add fat if we need to, because you don't want too lean of a sausage. But we also buy chicken, because we make chicken sausage, and we make very good chicken sausage. It's not dry, it's not junk. It's everything we make is premium.
I'm assuming that's a little bit how did you get the name the Sausage King of the Carolinas? How did that come about?
I don't know. I mean, it because we make sausage in the Carolinas, and our biggest footprint is in North and South Carolina, or at least it was. I mean, I guess it technically still is. The North Carolina F&B podcast, a little shout out to them. They had me on. That's what they nicknamed me.
That's the nickname, yep.
Yeah, and again, we're proud of the fact that we make good quality product. We really and truly, USDA is there to keep a safe line of product for consumers, and we're part of that. We want because our staff, look, they're using mixers, grinders, bandsaws. We have industrial slicers. We slice bacon. We slice beef bacon. It's 100% tantamount that our people are safe, and then that what we're putting out is safe. And if there's any question, we're not going to make it. If somebody thinks they drop something in a grinder, it's throw it away. even if they have no proof that they did, if they think they did. We want people to be safe. I want anybody and everybody, my family included, to never have to worry about anything that comes out of that facility. And we don't, because it's all about safety.
How big is the scale, right? So you're talking about like processing sausage. Like how do you measure that? Is like by the pound, by the day, by the week on like your input and outputs of like how much sausage you guys do, or how do you measure that?
I mean, sure, it's by volume, because, how many pounds you're making, how many pounds of what item you're making, because there's so many varieties. We make pork sausage in, pork breakfast sausage, brats, jalapeno cheddar. We do the same thing in chicken. We make a zesty Italian chicken sausage. We make breakfast sausage. We do pork casings. We do sheep casings. We do collagen casings. We can do links. We can do bulk. We can do patties. It just goes on and on.
Do you feel like from a business perspective, I have a couple close friends they're auto dealers, and they've told me, they're like, this is a really great business, but we couldn't do it again. Like, we couldn't enter this market today. Is that similar in your field? Would you say?
I don't think. No, I mean, I think if you have deep pockets, I mean, and you want to start a plant, I think you need people that have experience and know what they're doing. And I mean, you need operationally, you need the right people, you need the right equipment. I mean, it's expensive. I mean, I will tell you, I started the plant with a lot of used equipment, because buying new would have just, been a chokehold. But in that 4 years, we have continuously purchased new equipment to either supplement and have backup, or to just replace. And so, I mean, it gets pricey. That's for sure. Equipment's not cheap. You certainly can enter. To answer your question, I mean, there's new people that get into it. There's no question about it. And it's also about, recognizing what are the needs in the market. Does the market really need another 1 pound package of sliced bacon? Probably not. But does it need halal chicken sausage? Probably so.
Interesting. So you're an entrepreneur. We're kind of tied in. We know, from EO, Entrepreneur Organization, like how important is that to you? And you were the founding chapter president to kick that chapter off. So, EO is a group of entrepreneurs who are founders that have, at least got their company to $1 million. And, it's where a lot of entrepreneurs come together and can kind of, the good, the bad, the ugly, right? The top 5%, bottom 5%. But like, how important was that for you as an entrepreneur to find like your tribe of people? Like, you're in a unique space. I've never met somebody in your space, but how important is something like EO for you as an entrepreneur?
I didn't realize it at the time, but in hindsight, it was critical. I met people that just gave me so much good perspective and helped me with their experience shares. And, again, Wes, but, having those forum groups inside of your chapter. And I've been in the same forum group now since we started. And I mean, those people are basically, they're my board of directors. They're my advisors. And I know that, EO is experience share, not giving advice. And, and we respect that. But if one of my forum mates has an experience share, people have asked me, somebody asked me, hey, I heard you had a questionable partnership. How did that go? And I can share that with them or whatever. So, and I can say this, I really wish that I found EO 10, 12 years earlier. And I'm thrilled that my chapter is bringing in and accepting younger members. I'm just seeing, people in their 30s and 40s, because if you're getting into EO at that level of your entrepreneurial journey, it's really pretty amazing. And yes, I mean, because I think the first thing that happened, and again, I want to be clear, I didn't launch this chapter, single-handedly. I got help. It was a heavy lift, and I really did pretty much abandon my businesses to do this. And it was quite a juggling act, but I didn't do it alone. And I'm forever grateful to those people, and they know who they are. And some of them are still more active than me in EO. One of my EO friends is, I mean, she's in the Eastern region board. And so it's a great organization. And like you said, it comes with fun stuff too, because, like they say, it's like herding cats to try to get everybody together because we're all so busy. But because it's our tribe, we really do have a deep understanding for how difficult it can be just to make a meeting or just to be at an event or whatever. And so, but I have never sat down with anybody in my chapter that I didn't have a very productive, sincere, and deep, meaningful conversation with about anything. It didn't have to be about business. It could be about anything.
Yeah, when I found EO, and I think for people that are listening and are kind of like not familiar with what it is, but really to me, it's, as an entrepreneur, it can, a lot of people think, oh, it's either glitz or glamour or all these different things. But the reality is it's kind of lonely, like being an entrepreneur. And, when I found EO, I'm like, holy cow, like here's 100 people in Detroit that are kind of going through the same thing. They all have different businesses, but it's like to find the tribe of people that are all going through it that have, to your, what you mentioned around not really telling each other what to do, but like that experience share is just so big as you're, whether it's buying a piece of equipment or having a challenge with a business partner, what have you, business, personal, or family, super pivotal in my life. And I can imagine, like, you mentioned like you abandon your business, which is, I get it because I've seen it, but you kind of have to ask yourself, like, that's just the entrepreneurial spirit. Like if you're so passionate and driven to do something that you're that convicted to leave your two businesses for the greater good of this thing, that's pretty cool. So what's in the future for you? Like, so you kind of had some pivotal moments of, leaving the company, starting your own in 2008, the next phase of 21. Here we are in 25. Like what's next for what you've got going in both businesses?
Well, I think now we're kind of, we're on a growth trajectory. Being an EO has helped me learn a lot more about myself, and a lot of the things that I've been listening to from other members and some of the events I've gone to. I will also say that my mother passed recently, and it had a very profound effect on me for a lot of reasons. Mostly, obviously, losing your mother is horrible. But it taught me a lot about myself because she was sick and I was in Florida pretty much for 8 months caring for her. I'm her only living child. And, you talk about abandoning, but it wasn't intentional, right? So I won't say I abandoned it. I will say that I leaned on my staff and I learned what everybody's been trying to tell me for a long time, which just get the hell out of the way. And I had no choice. I had to get out of the way. And the company not only did better, but it ran better. Yes, I still was on top of things and I still kept in touch with my people and management and the team and what's going on. And it's just, it's inside me. It's innate. I kind of just want to know how things are going, but I wasn't, and I don't think I'm a micromanager, but if I ever was, I had to stop. And because my focus was on her care. And then of course we eventually moved her to Charleston from Florida, and she was here for about 7-8 months. And so plus the other lessons I think that I learned that will help me in business and in life is she never lost her sense of humor. She never gave up, she was 91 years old. And even at 91, a lot of people say, oh, she had a great life and long life. And it's like, yes, but what you don't know is her father was 102. Her mother was 98. Her older sister was 98. We thought that we had her for a much longer time. So the other effect is your mortality, right? You start thinking about those things. And it's like, okay, what do I want to do? What do I want to accomplish? So be deliberate about what you want to do. And then as far as the business goes, like I say, we're in a launch, a growth mode, and we're getting much deeper into AI. I mean, I've never had an IT person on staff. Now I do. He's launching a whole platform on Lovable for us. In fact, we're going to our plant next week, and he's got, it's over my head, and that's okay. I don't need to know how it works. I just need to know that it works. So
that's great perspective. I'm sorry to hear about that, but it sounds like the perspective you have is great. And, talking about like leaning on your team, and you were forced into, they showed up at a time you needed. So with that, was there any type of like operating process, or can you pin that back to any way like you've managed the business, or like some people are like EOS or scaling up or some type of platform? Did you guys operate off anything like that prior to that?
So we haven't done the EOS, and it's kind of funny because there's only 2 people in my forum that are not on EOS, and I'm one of them. And that's not because I don't believe in EOS. It's just, I think that I've got a very good team, and I think that the way we run things has worked for us. And I certainly am always open to learning, and I'm not saying I would never do EOS or scaling up or whatever. There's so many of them now. But I learned also that I had a hell of a team. And we're a real motley bunch. We have Black Americans, white Americans, Hispanic Americans. Our production manager is a Black guy. He's an awesome guy. He was telling me a story the other day, and he said that he said to a lady, because he didn't like how he was getting treated, he's like, "Is this happening because I'm Black?" And I said, "Travis, you're Black?" I didn't know that. So it was just, I really do love seeing people do well. I was very happy for him. He's never owned a home, and he bought a home 2 weeks ago.
Oh, wow.
And, and he thanked me. And it's like, why are you thanking me, man? You earned this. And he's like, yeah, but you gave me the opportunity. And so I guess that's the Simon Sinek why. What's my why? I think that's my why. I can't make people successful. I can't make them take advantage of any opportunity I may present to them. But damn it, I'm going to present them the opportunity, and they're going to do with it what they will.
Yeah, and you're in that, right? Like AI, like you need team members, right? You need physical people there to do the work, right?
You can't make sausage from your living room, man.
No, it's probably hard. It's hard work too. I would imagine it's really difficult work.
Very hard work. You're working in a cold environment. Our production rooms, I'm going to say it's 38 degrees. And then sometimes you still sometimes have to go in the freezer. Now, granted, that's in North Carolina. I'm in South Carolina. So we have a staff there that works for United Custom Foods. And then we have a staff here at Specialty Food Solutions. We're more on the sales and marketing and logistics side. And there it's all production.
Gotcha. No, that's cool. That's great. It's funny about the EOS. Most entrepreneurs in EO are familiar with it, but it sounds like you guys figured out your own way, which is great. It sounds like it's working really well. Now, the sausage king of the Carolinas, Do you sell to consumers? Do you guys sell your product online, or is it strictly to restaurants, or how can people get their hands on any of your products?
So we're strictly a B2B company, and we did entertain e-com about a year and a half, 2 years ago. And based on everything that I learned about it, and I've got some other friends that are either in EO or YPO or whatever that talk to me about what the investment will take. And of course, there's no guarantees, and it would undoubtedly be yet another business. The decision that we made was, let's stick with B2B, and if we're going to do e-com, let's co-pack product for people that are successful in the e-com space. That way we can still be in it, but make product for them. We don't know that space, and I just wasn't prepared to invest that kind of money. So no. And then currently, to answer your other question, most of our product does end up in the food service side of things. There's some things that we do sell to supermarket chains, but it's not consumer packaged goods. We will eventually do that. We do have the packaging capability, and so we will do that eventually. But right now, we're very, very food service focused. And by that, I mean, we use broadline food service distributors. We use specialty meat distributors, some large independent food distributors. That's our base for distribution. But we also still have to have people in the field that are presenting product and sampling all the time. And, we have this in stock at this distributor, or we have that in stock at that distributor. And we try to be very loyal to our distributor base, and support them. I mean, they're supporting us.
As CEO, right? Like, how do you balance your time with your team? And then I would imagine, it's very heavily relationship based. What are some things that you do? I mean, are you flying out, meeting with customers, or what are some things that you do as CEO that, let your buyers or, know that they matter?
Well, so you're right. It's not transactional, right? We're constantly creating better and better and better relationships. At least that's what we aspire to. And so I'm not having to fly too much because most of our business is in the Southeast. But very possibly we're working on the Boston market right now. So I may have to go up there in a couple of weeks, and but I'll spend time in North Carolina. I'll have to be at the plant, or I'll be in Charlotte, or I was in West Palm recently. I was in Tampa with our newest broker team, with doing a presentation there. And I try to handle any of the high level relationships, and of course I oversee any major financial decisions that have to be made. As for instance, like I say, we made a decision to purchase our plant rather than rent it. That was also a very great experience, because again, I've been very lucky in a lot of cases. I rented that building literally from a friend, right? My buddy is a real estate investor. And one day he said to me, "Hey, anytime you see a good opportunity, make sure you tell me." And so I said, 5 years ago, "Hey, I found this plant. We can steal it." So anyway, it needed a lot of work. It wasn't new. It needed all new electrical. It needed all new plumbing. It needed roof repairs. But we were able to upfit it so that it was USDA compliant.
Wow.
And we have a 1,800 square foot processing floor. We've got another one that we created out of a dry room. So we kept doing these leasehold improvements, and my CPA said, can't you just buy the building? So I went to my buddy and we worked out a deal and we bought the building. And I couldn't have done it without him. You know, I mean, again, it's just like I couldn't have launched EO without, you got to know you're not doing it by yourself.
Well, I think one thing you said earlier, I think that ties all this back, is one thing you did was pick up the phone.
Yes. Yes.
Like
yes.
stuff's not going to just fall out of the air and make
Yes.
itself happen. Like you got to get a little grimy. You got to pick up the phone and
Yes. Yes.
you know.
Yeah, you got to pick up the phone, man. I mean, you just do, you know, I mean, email isn't going to work.
No. And now everybody just freaking runs it through ChatGPT anyway. I can see it a mile away. It's terrible.
Yeah. I mean, hey, I think chat's awesome. You know, I mean, we've been using it for a lot of things, but it's still not a replacement, thankfully, for humans.
For relationships.
And a true thought process and a relationship. Yes.
Yeah. Hopefully we still have some time for that. I think we do.
I hope so.
Well, Haig, that's cool. Well, if anybody's listening, are you on LinkedIn? Can anybody get in contact with you if they have, want to talk to the Sausage King of the Carolinas or have any business insights? How do people get in contact with you?
LinkedIn or, email or
awesome.
Or call.
Yeah, or call. There you go. I actually think you might pick up the phone. That's good.
Yeah. Yeah. A guy called me this morning. I was out on an early morning walk and a guy I hadn't heard from in years called me. He's like, thanks for picking up the phone. And I said, why wouldn't I? Right. Well,
it's crazy though. Cause I have a 16-year-old, he just got a truck, and part of the term of like his activation or something was like a 30-day, you got to call this number. And I said, you need to call this company and do this. Like, I'm not doing it for you. He's like, I don't want to talk to anybody. And I go, it's expiring. You're not going to be able to have whatever app or map or whatever you have. He's like, that's fine. I don't care. I don't want to talk to anybody. And I'm like, this is my son. I've been an entrepreneur for forever. Right. But I'm like, come on, like just have a conversation.
Yeah. I don't know what that's all about. I really don't.
No.
I don't know if that's a product of the COVID situation that we had, which was horrible for young people and their parents. I mean, my kids are grown. I've got three grown kids, but I can't even imagine what people like you and many others that had young kids that went through COVID. It was terrible.
Yeah. It was so bad. Sorry, this thing's going off here. Well, I appreciate the time, and if people get a hold of you, it's Haig, Haig Berberian. I said that correct?
Yes.
Correct? Okay. Well, cool. Thank you so much for spending the time today. Super awesome learning about your business and talking to you. I appreciate it. Thanks so much.
No, thank you. Appreciate it, Wes.
Awesome.
It's been a pleasure.
This has been another episode of Entrepreneur Intel. Thank you for joining us. For show notes or other episodes, please visit us at entrepreneurintel.com. Until next time.